Hi, sorry that I've been a bit absent for a while. I've been thinking about a new series of videos, which this one will be the first of. Um, teaching you stuff that you can do that's kind of fun and hopefully, really deeply instructive, something to really help you to use music in a way that is towards the fluency that I teach. Um, so it's based around improvisation. Improvisation, I think, is really, really important as a practice because true improvisation, because it's about expressing yourself. It's about expressing what you feel from within rather than executing or performing something correctly. So, this is quite a big, important distinction, that we want to express ourselves. And I think this is, really, really important to me. It's important to me because I love doing it. It's like expressing myself. It's a kind of meditation. It's using music to make sense of life. And it's only that joy, that blissful feeling that I get from playing music only really happens when I improvise fluently, when I really tell the music rather than perform it or execute it, if you see what I mean. So it's very important for that reason. I think the other reason it's very important is because playing with that kind of deep feeling, playing with that intention or that meaning, to do that comes from I think it comes from a very deep consciousness. It comes from a deeper consciousness than the mind. And therefore, I think AI can't do it. And that's very, that's very important, I think, in today's world. There's a kind of static, graceless. It can be very beautiful AI music, but it always feels a bit kind of sort of like it's not really moving. It doesn't have grace. It doesn't have flow. It doesn't stretch. It doesn't have story in the same way that when you play like this from the body and soul. So let's get into it. Let's get into today's groove, because the way into telling a story with music is to really feel the unfolding rhythm, the poetry, the groove. And we'll also look at a rhythm pattern that we'll use to get you improvising with. So the groove that I want to get you to try today it's a nice one. It's perhaps not the most common sounding structure that we find in music, but it's still, it's a regular one. It's one that we come across a fair bit. So it's like three groups of four beats. So you just could count it and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. I'm a big fan of saying little mantras rather than counting numbers. So I would teach people to say inward rhythm, flowing rhythm, natural rhythm. So there's kind of message in the words, the words that have the same structure as the numbers that I counted. And you can see that I'm moving. It's not about moving the body, it's an inward movement. We feel it on the inside. And I use the word inward rather than inner, because it's not just we feel it an inner movement. It kind of takes us in. It's inward. It takes us into ourselves. It takes us to a deep place. And that's what I'm inviting you to feel as you say this groove, as you feel this groove and say it. And obviously to get going with the rhythm is, a really good way to practice this. So I've got this nice rhythm pattern for us to try. It's very simple. And the best way I think to start it off is to clap it. And in that groove that we just did. So clapping it and maybe also saying it. Yeah. So here it is. It goes da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da da da. Now, when I teach my own students, and I have a website, playpianofluently.com, where I sell materials to teach people kind of comprehensive fluency. I go into it in a lot more detail than this. Obviously, this is just a little taster in a way of what fluency is all about. It's not full fluency, it's like a taste of it. And I teach this idea of rhythm cells, and rhythm cells are like vocabulary, and the groove, really understanding the groove structure deeply gives you a really deep sense of syntax. But even with this little game that we're doing here, this little improvisation exercise, let's not call it an exercise or a game, let's just call it improvising. So this bit of improvising that we're doing here, I still want you to feel as if you're saying vocabulary. You can actually sort of see how between each, pair of bar lines, you've got this cell of rhythm. Da 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 dee da dee da 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 dee da da da. Notice the way I'm saying it like I'm telling you something. A lot of that's to do with the groove. This followed by that, followed by that, then this followed by that, followed by that. It has a kind of logic, doesn't it? And it's that continuous unfolding. Logic's not perhaps my favorite word, but it's that feeling, that storytelling, that poetry that has flow and stretch and unfolds that is the thing I think AI can't do. That's the thing. And then we're saying these rhythm cells not like a machine, not perfectly in time, but with a natural, almost spoken, sort of stretched out spoken feeling, a bit sing-songy. Yeah, very poetic. So you can feel that kind of cadence, that rise and fall that this sense of the groove gives us. If I do that rhythm 4 times, you can do it with me if you want to, you'll feel how it tells a story and it rises and falls. It creates tension and resolution even before we've put any tonality, any harmony or melody into there, like this. Da da dee da dee da 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 da. Da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da. So that flexibility, that expressiveness, the story, you noticed I let it kind of get a bit excited. I let the dynamics get louder, they get softer. The feeling is that the voice rises and falls. It's telling a story. It's got cadence. It's got a kind of syntax. It's got poetry. So obviously, the important thing is to really get all of this in your body. This feeling of flow and elasticity, it has to be in your body. When I say in your body, I don't mean it's about how you actually move your body. We're not learning to dance here, but we've got to feel this flowing quality. If we brace a little bit, which people do when they play music because their ego gets involved and they want to get it right and they want to make it good, and that desire to make it good and get it right makes us brace. So it's okay if you make mistakes. Mistakes are learning. It's okay if you come off the rails. It's all okay. It's mostly what I'm trying to say. It's okay to be expressive like a child. I think we all have trauma around this area. We're all made to be civilized. We're all made to be good and polite. Music is your opportunity to overcome the trauma of becoming civilized. And it's therefore, I think, all music's a little bit punk in a way, even though there's nothing punk about the kind of music we're doing here. It's very sort of beautiful and almost new age, beautiful, classical. But nevertheless, there's something about expressing in this way, in this fluent way, in this natural way from within that is going, I don't care. I'm not going to be civilized. I'm going to be like a child expressing myself. So it's really important not to brace. We've got to feel the stretch, feel the flow. We can sometimes dig a beat in, so it's flexible. We can sometimes flow through and it can almost accelerate a little. There's no need to be like a metronome, particularly in this style that we're playing. In my other project, Lewis Harrison, so I've got a YouTube channel as Lewis Harrison, my other alter ego. That's for my jazzy, sort of soulful jazzy stuff. In that one, I'm doing the same kind of videos, but with an audible groove, with a beat. So in a way, you might think that needs to be more metronomic. No, it doesn't. We still, to get this quality that I think is better than perfect, this quality of something that AI or a machine of any kind can't do, we're connecting to something which is inherently flowing, graceful, elastic. I love the word grace. Give yourself some grace. It's all a grace period. You don't have to get it perfect. So that loose, not too loose, elastic, flowing feeling. Da 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 dee da 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 da. So that's the rhythm. So let's get into the chords, the tonality, the harmony and the rhythm. There's harmony and the melody. Rhythm is still the most important thing. That's probably why I said it, then made that slip. Rhythm is what it's all about. The rhythm comes first. We're just building now on top of the rhythm. So how does tonality work? What is tonality? I'll talk about this in each video. I'll obviously say it in slightly different ways because just like the music that we're going to be doing with words now, I'm improvising. So hopefully, each new video will bring more insight. But the point of tonality, I think, is to do with a feeling of what I always call home and away. You want to resolve. So in the first chord that we're doing, which is based on an F minor chord, the F is the root. F is home. So all the other notes, that one's not home, that one's not home, that one isn't because F is home. And we feel that very, very naturally. We also feel the minor quality. It's something that we sense. It has a minor color, a minor tonal sound that we feel very naturally. It's important not to worry about these sort of things and give yourself a hard time trying to train your ear and stuff like that. It's already built into us. We already understand these things. But it's good to be aware of it, this feeling of a cluster of notes that makes a chord. One of those is the root, one of those is home, and that's very useful information that we actually use to express. So we're walking through the notes of the chord, coming back home to the root. And so that being away is like a question. I'm away, where am I? I'm home. It's more like a statement. So we feel that through the rhythm. Do you see? Through the storytelling. Through the matrix, I tell the story. The tonality enhances the way that I'm expressing the poetry or the story through the rhythm. So that feeling of cadence, that feeling of unfolding poetry, that's really important. And then through that, that's how you get all this sense of color. That's a beautiful color. Now, if I think of that first chord that we're doing, that F minor one, as home, the second chord, because you're going to improvise on two chords, the second chord, the D flat based one, very parallel shape. They've got a very similar shape, haven't they? F minor. That D flat one, the second one, is away. And I want to go back home to. So obviously, all that light and shade, all that color, all that storytelling, that cadence, that's the most important thing. And what we've got to do is get these chords, these keys really under your fingers, really into your body, into your brain, really solidly. Lots of ways we can practice that. I think a really good way is just to stick with rhythm for a minute, but we're going to play the rhythm actually on the chord. And I'm sort of playing the chord, breaking it up. I can play it in all sorts of different ways, that chord, but I'm just focused really on the rhythm and using the chord with an awareness of where it is in the keyboard, that awareness physically of where it lives. And to really make that an interesting practice, I'll do one cycle of the rhythm on the first chord and then the next cycle on the other one. So the F minor bass chord on the first time I do that rhythm, and then the D flat on the second time, like this. So that rhythmic flexibility, all that storytelling is what makes it sound tuneful and musical. I'm not designing a melody. And this is very important. The desire to audiate melody, the idea to audiate music in our heads and then execute it is very strong. And it's often taught as well. And I don't believe in it. I don't play that way. I'm just telling spontaneously, moment by moment, musical ideas, just musical words, as it were. I'm just saying something, describing it through the rhythm, moment by moment. I'm not designing anything. I have no sense of what it sounds like as a finished piece of music. I'm following the rules. I know that I'm playing the F minor chord and then the D flat chord. I'm very connected to the sounds. Very connected to the physicality of where they live in the keyboard. That's very, very important. I know where I am. I know where I am. I'm there. I'm there. But I'm also connected to the sounds. Because I've got the structure really clear and it's under my fingers, I can know where the sounds live. So I'm not designing music and reverse engineering it with this kind of oral skill that we're supposed to have. I'm telling those places, maybe in different combinations. And these places, D flat 1. Now, sometimes you might play something and it isn't exactly what you're meaning to say, in which case you just go, oh, of course, just flow with it. Acknowledge that it's a mistake, but just try to get that connection, that physical connection to the tonal sounds, the harmony and the melodies that are emerging by splitting up the chord. So that's very simple. I'm just doing the chords in situ, just where they are. Now, when you get a bit more adventurous, you might want to move those chords around. You might want to go to different parts of the keyboard. You might want to do something like this. So obviously now I'm coming out of the strict rhythm. I'm trying to stay in the groove. I'm coming out of the strict rhythm. I'm doing other rhythms. I'm also starting to include a few auxiliary notes on the notes that are not actually in the chord. And you can see those in the diagram that we've got here underneath, the ones underneath. It's kind of like the scale, the whatever you want to call it. I call it a diatonic block. The block of seven keys that is shown by the keys each have 4 flats. So it's these 4 in the 3 black key group and these 3 in the 2 black key group. So I'm literally just walking around on those areas of keyboard like that, which again are physically mapped into my brain and my body. I know them. I know that's what 4 flats is. And that gives us access to these auxiliary notes. I'm still trying to keep a really strong sense of the chord, because that chord shape gives me that harmonic shape, that chord shape gives me something solid to hold on to, gives a bit of character to the tonality, and then I'm allowing the notes in between. If I demonstrate really clinically, those notes are the chord notes, but that's not. Let's come back. That's not. Back in the chord, not in the chord, not in the chord, not in the chord, in the chord. Do you see what I mean? So I'm trying to be physically and mentally aware of the chord, and also aware of the diatonic block, as I call it, kind of like the scale that it plugs into. And that gives me access to lots of melodic sounds like this. You can play as many cycles as you want. The whole idea is supposed to be a really beautiful experience. It's like going for a walk in the landscape of music. And, you know, with this particular landscape, these two chords, these two harmonies, that diatonic block or scale of four flats, using that groove, that beautiful groove, that's the real soul of the music. The groove is what really holds us, that poetry. And I say groove, it's not strict, is it? It's very poetic, very flexible, very stretchy. So the groove is the thing that really helps us to play like a child like this, to feel naughty. You can be very simple. You don't have to play anything as complicated as I'm playing. I'm trying to keep it simple, but, you know, simple as you like. You could just kind of go. As long as it has that rhythmic quality, the storytelling, the beauty, it's more that. And it's through really engaging with this storytelling feeling, this poetry, it feels so expressive. As I say, it can be a little bit confronting for us as adults because we have trauma around being this expressive. It feels like we're going crazy. Obviously, it sounds fine. You're used to hearing musicians playing music, so you don't think I'm going crazy. But it might be that stiffness and that bracing needs you to, you know, really defy little gremlins in your head telling you to be good and civilized and play well and play right, and just allow yourself to be this free and expressive. So we feel like a child, we're just playing, making up stories. Maybe I feel like I'm being silly or naughty or self-indulgent. It's very, very important not to try and get it right or be perfect. In fact, I would say perfect is boring. We want to be better than perfect to get that quality of music that AI can't do. So this is a little formula. It's just two chords and a rhythm, and you're playing with just this narrow set of parameters. What I teach, as I mentioned, and you can look at my website, Play Piano Fluently, to find out more about that. What I teach is a comprehensive fluency, so that we're not obviously limited to this. We can do kind of anything we want. But this is a taster. I hope it's fun. Even if you're not in the least bit interested in learning to be completely fluent, you can still have fun with these ingredients, being really expressive, really enjoying the soul of the piano and having fun. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I'll be making a lot more of these videos, so check back soon.